Hello, 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 party people. How's it going? It's Monday. And you guys know Monday sucks. But it doesn't suck as much if you have a little bit of whiskey and a nice conversation. It makes it much better. You see, I have my glasses on today, meaning I'm smart and optimistic today. That's the look I'm going for. Smart and optimistic, even though we are Monday sucks. But you know, Monday sucks does not happen without my glassmate, the man with the glasses, the Kentucky sommelier himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Timmy. What's up, Tim?
Dude. Oh, smart and
What's
sophisticated.
happening?
I guess I'm always fucking smart and sophisticated.
I know. This is what I was going for. I was going for the whole
I'm about it,
smart,
man. I'm about it.
positive, and sophisticated. If you're here, welcome to the shit show. It's Monday. Mondays usually suck, so but if yours didn't suck at much, come give us some positive energy.
Mine,
Here, we are here to receive it all. Go in the comment, say hello, say hola,
say
and
hello to our
you know
little friends.
call your mama, your baby mama, their baby mamas. It was Mother's Day yesterday. Bring them in and let's share some whiskey and some news and some knowledge
Yeah.
with them. If you're on the Instagram, make sure you jump here. We are trying to educate you the right way to actually start learning from coming on the YouTube versus staying on Instagram because YouTube is obviously much cooler. So I'm gonna come in and and I'm gonna quickly get on the story and tell people, let's say, there we go. We are live. We are live on YouTube, Facebook. So we are live. We are live. Make sure you actually jump in and let's have a conversation. Let's learn about whiskey. And as you guys know, we try to bring you something different, something special, something not common on the market. Today we are traveling to the Rocky Mountains. Uh oh, I was like, why is he talking and we can't hear him because you muted yourself? I'm like, something is
Uh huh.
off. Yeah, we are going to the Rocky Mountains. We are going to the Red Rocks. We are going to the state that gets you higher than anywhere else in the world.
We're gonna get ultra
We
elevated,
are gonna be
super
all the way
elevated.
high, aka the state where all the hipsters are cooler than the regular people. That is Colorado, and we are going to talk about laws. Ooh.
There ain't no laws when you're drinking laws.
There is no laws when you're drinking laws. So this is laws. This is what they sent. This is their bottles that they sent in. That's laws. And
Man, you got
they're
full bottles? What the fuck?
yeah.
What the
I
fuck,
just poured
man?
you whatever came into this box because I didn't see it until I actually opened the box itself. But anywho, I if you never had Laws whiskey, you should probably look into it. They're from Colorado. We have a lot of friends in Colorado,
We do.
but
We do.
I've heard about them, but I didn't know anything about them. So I said, you know what? Let me reach out to them and see if I can bring them on the show, so they can come hang out with us. They can come tell us a little bit about a little bit. If you're here right now, if you're on Facebook, you're yep. If you're here right now, if you're on Facebook, do me a favor, make sure you push the thumbs up and uh, the heart thumbs up and subscribe if you're not. If you're here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Tim, how was your week?
My weekend was not as
Busy.
busy as I expected to be.
Kentucky Derby.
It was fucking chaotic, but it wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. And also, I have been kicking myself in the ass since the race ended. Since I've been here, it's been my tradition to always bet $100 on the fucking long shot every single time.
Mm-hmm.
I did not
You
bet.
didn't do it.
I did not fucking bet this time.
You
I
know
would have
what they
been
say? You
eight
can't
grand
win if you don't
richer.
play.
I would have been 8 grand richer, and I'm so irritated with myself.
So this weekend was quite interesting because the Kentucky Derby was happening,
Yep.
and also was Mother's Day. So you gamble, you drink some mint julep, and you turn around and love on your mother. There is no better weekend than this weekend for those people that actually We're enjoying the Kentucky Derby. Hope y'all have a good time. I hate y'all because I wish I was there. So that's is Monday. That's the feeling on Monday. Even though I'm going for sophisticated.
Louisville's on
Uh,
the map now, man. I had people I haven't talked to in like 8 years calling me and leaving me messages. Hey, man, didn't you say you were gonna move to Louisville? I heard Drake was there. Were you guys hanging out? Like,
yeah.
no, I was not hanging out with Drake.
Jack Harlow made Kentucky look cool anymore. And he brought all his crew with him. He brought
He
Drake.
did.
He brought somebody else.
There was a
Otherwise,
whole bunch of
Drake,
people,
yeah,
regardless. But
Drake will never come to Kentucky. Y'all got too many issues up in there, so that's why. But Drake will have been in Colorado. Speaking of Colorado, the man that we brought in here, you when you talk to, I had to go check his resume because when you talk to a distiller, usually they'll be like, oh yeah, we're gonna get the master distiller to talk to you, or we're gonna get the owner of the distillery, and they're like, no, we got a barrel manager, and I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Coming to find out, he hold the keys to the kingdom. The barrel
of course he
manager
does.
here,
Of
Mr.
course he does.
James Coons, have a long ass resume. Ladies and gentlemen, let us help you welcome Mr. James. If I say your last name right, Coons, is that right? As if I
That's
say,
right. Yeah,
what's
that's
up,
me.
What's
James?
up, man?
Welcome to Monday Sucks. Here the whiskey flow free. We love people and we are very honest. So welcome to the party.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell the people about you because I had to check you out. I had to check your resume because I'm like, barrel manager. Why are you guys sending me to the barrel manager? That's not the guy I want to talk. I want to talk to master distiller. I want to talk to the owner. I want to know operations and everything. But they're like, nope, this is the guy that you need to talk to. So
Well, the other guys were probably busy tonight, so you got me. But yeah, no, thanks for having me. My name is James Coons, and as you said, I'm the barrel manager at Law's Whiskey House. Been there for just over 7 years, and prior to being the barrel manager for the last 3 years, I was I should say for my first 4 years at Laws, I was a distiller, and then the opportunity opened up to become the barrel manager, and just slid right in and been there ever since. So it's been pretty awesome. Prior to working at Laws, I worked at Prost Brewing Company in Denver for a couple years and learned how to brew lager beer, and it holds a very special place in my heart. I love lager beer. So if I'm not drinking whiskey, I'm probably drinking a Pilsner or something like that.
I'm from Africa. That's all we had. We had a lot of lager before because our brewery, believe it or not, was built by Germans.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of pills and a lot of lager. Literally, our beer is called pills
Yeah.
and lager. They did not even come up with a different name. It's like I was like, "Oh, give me a pills and then give me a lager." That's literally how you order beer back home. So
Yeah. Well, why bother giving it a creative name? You just ordering what it is, right?
like it's like for the longest time, it took me so long to realize that a pilsner is what they call pills. I just thought it was the name of the beer back home. And then I talked to a friend of mine that was German, and it's like, oh yeah, we just call it pills. I'm like, oh, now that makes sense. Took me a while.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Looks like you know what you're doing. So you distilled before, you brewed before, and now you're managing barrels. What's the life of a barrel manager's like? Tell us a day in the life of a barrel manager.
A day in the life. Well, I won't tell you about today because Mondays do suck.
Yeah. Your Monday sucks, so you are free to express yourself.
On a normal day for me, I taste a lot of whiskey. Aside from just that's really the fun part, and the best part of the job is tasting barrels and going through creating batches, tasting barrels at different ages and trying to put together something new and exciting, as well as just sorting through what we have and creating batches. So, for example, I have a batch in the tank right now that's 81 barrels. It's the largest bourbon batch we've ever made, and that takes about a week to narrow it down to 81 barrels. I had a selection of a group of barrels, about 150 barrels I had to taste through and narrow it down. And then, and came up with a couple of test batches. And then I run it by the distillers and people on the packaging line and people in the office. And we just get everybody in there to taste it and kind of weigh in with their opinion, because everybody's opinion is certainly important and valid. Yeah. And, everybody in the company drinks our whiskey, so it's really important to have their sort of their reactions to our stuff. So that's really the best part of the job. There's a lot of maintenance, there's a lot of scrubbing floors, there's a lot of logistical stuff that just kind of takes up a lot of the time. But yeah, really the best part is getting into the barrels, tasting them, sorting them, going back and looking at barrels that I haven't tasted for a year or two and kind of tracking their progress is really fun. That's probably my favorite part of the job.
So give us a little story about, we know what you do now. You are tasting barrels. Obviously, you used to distill before. So give us a little bit the story of Laws. For people that never, if I find Laws on a shelf today, what can you tell someone about this distillery? What it came about? What's the, what drives you guys along? What makes you stand out from other whiskeys that maybe are on a shelf there?
Well, if you want the story of Laws, we can start there, and then we'll talk about kind of what drives us, really. But Laws was started in 2011 by Alan and Marianne Laws.
That's literally their last name.
Laws, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's their last name.
I thought there would be more story behind that one.
No, I mean that's the name. That's the name of the people who own it, and that's the name of our product.
Yeah.
Started up in 2011. Alan came from the finance industry, and prior to that, he was in oil and gas. They're both from Canada. Al has been collecting whiskey since he was in his late teens. So he likes to say that, Americans don't really understand that because we don't really drink whiskey until we're older. But, I guess in Canada, things are a little bit different. So, but yeah, he's a lifelong fanatic of whiskey. He's obsessed with whiskey, and that passion has really made its way through everything that we do. Anyway, so around that time, prior to opening in 2011, Al met this guy named Bill Friel, who is a Kentucky master distiller. So he was inducted into the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. He did most of his work at Barton Distillery, and prior to that, did a lot of work for Seagram. And brilliant guy. Al and Bill made fast friends down in Kentucky one afternoon. Bill had been retired for a while, and Al asked him to come and consult with him on his new project, Laws Whiskey House. And they were supposed to have a little brief interaction of about half an hour to an hour. And, the whole afternoon went by. They had a few glasses of whiskey. And by the end, Al convinced Bill to come and work on this project with him. So he kind of came out of retirement just for this little project. And so Al likes to call him his Yoda because, Yoda is the all-knowing Jedi, and he's so wise and full of wisdom. So, and I mean, we refer to him as our Yoda because he's taught us so much over the years. That's kind of the roots of Laws Whiskey House. Right out of the gate, Al wanted to start with a 4-grain bourbon, which, as you guys know, probably not very common on the market.
Yeah.
And so really just swinging for the fences starting out, which is kind of a bold move, but, it kind of combines the best parts of a high rye and a high wheat bourbon. And if you get the balance right, which we think that we have figured out, it works pretty well.
So you guys started immediately with a 4-grain bourbon.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Let's give that a shot. That's the regular 4-grain bourbon. Let's pour something as you're talking about it.
Okay.
I want to taste it.
Yeah. So
just in case you're wondering, Tim, you see, these are my little tiny bottles. They have a cool 4-pack thing that if you don't know about their whiskey, They come perfectly in these glasses where you can. Those are
Those
up
are
for purchase.
those are pretty cute.
James, they you can purchase these 4 packs, right?
That's right. Yeah, they come in
Yeah,
a 4 pack. Um, it's a sampler pack
yeah.
with
I really like how you guys did that because it highlights. I mean, this 4 pack is quite special because and I love the idea behind it. That's literally I say if I ever made whiskey, that's how I'm gonna make it because not only tells the story of what you guys truly have in the distillery. There's a scan here. You can literally go on the bar. Literally, there's a barcode here that you scan and know more about the experience or virtual experience literally of tasting the whiskey. Here you got Colorado and tells you if you're lost, you literally know where you're going here, where the water came from, the corn came from. This is probably the best thing on the market. You get that's a smart way of
thank
selling
you.
your whiskey. So I can appreciate that.
Well, yeah, it's a great way to get introduced to our products. So the four grain bourbon, we like to say it's the four American mother grains: corn, wheat, rye, and barley.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I can go over where our grain comes from if you like,
Yeah,
and
go ahead. Go ahead.
dive into that. So all of our corn is grown out in eastern Colorado near the Kansas border, outside of a town called Burlington. It's a little family town, or sorry, a little family farm. They've been there for several generations since the late 1800s, and they call themselves the Whiskey Sisters. They deal grain to distilleries all over Colorado.
Okay.
Um, and then all of our wheat, rye, and barley come from down south in the San Luis Valley. Um, it's a company called Colorado Malting Company. It's a family-owned farm as well. And years ago, Al got in touch with these guys. The Cody family is their name. Got in touch with them after he picked up a little bit of malted wheat at a homebrew shop. He ran out of wheat when he was making 4 grain. This was in the first couple months of him making the 4 grain. Really loved their malted wheat. Got in touch with them, ordered a whole bunch more, and it's been kind of sweet love ever since. We gotten to be really good friends with them, and now we buy 100% of the rye that they farm and a huge amount of their wheat and barley. So, and I'll talk more about the rye when we get to that. It's a pretty special grain. But all the grains that we use are really special to us.
What type of rye do you guys use?
The rye is called
That's
San
what I was
Luis
going to ask you about. Yeah, so you have an heirloom rye, an heirloom wheat, and an heirloom malt.
Barley. Yeah.
Barley. Okay, so are those guys is that proprietary just to you guys, or is that something else that like another distillery can also buy? I just thought that was if you can't say it, that's fine, but I just thought it was very interesting that you know going with an heirloom grain. That's rad.
Yeah. So we buy 100% of their rye that they grow. Really, I mean, I don't think anybody else can get it right now. But the barley they grow, the variety is called Scarlet, which is a European two-row variety, and the wheat is Centennial white wheat. And so these are heirloom varieties. The white wheat is a soft winter wheat, or sorry, a soft spring wheat. It's not a hard winter wheat like a lot of distillers might use. That grain is more suited for like bread making or whatever. It has a good amount of flavor, but the wheat that we use carries a lot of protein, but a really nice soft flavor. It actually balances out the 4 grain quite a bit. It's the second largest amount of grain that we use is the wheat. So you could say that it's a wheat forward bourbon.
What do you think, Tim? Because there's some particular about this whiskey that just stood out to me.
So the things that are standing out to me the most, or it's like floral, sweet, fruity, and but it's a different kind of sweet. Like it's like really honey. Like I get tons and tons of honey. Like it almost smells like somebody just took like clover, orange blossom honey and just like fucking chucked it on me. I mean, it's really fragrant on that.
The nose definitely is perfectly herbal. A lot of is like somebody's making a Parmesan bread that's like baking.
Sure.
Like it's like
Yeah, it's
what
not
do you
yeasty
call it?
but doughy. It's like very doughy
very
forward.
doughy, very doughy. What do you call that? Saffron bread.
Ah,
You know, that's what the herbalness of saffron and just getting those bread notes. But my first thing here was the rye.
Mm.
There is this, it's like it scratch the back of your palate. The finish, that rye doesn't go away. That's how I asked, tell me about the rye, because I think you were saying this is a wheat forward. I think this on the nose, yes, this is a wheat forward, but on the taste, screw the wheat. The rye is what stand out in the whole thing.
yeah, and
Like
it's only
the finish on this thing is
It's
it
spice.
was almost odd. I was like, what is this taste? What is it that I'm tasting? And it
well,
was like, it's not bacon spice and it's not spicy either. It's right in that middle of hot, but not enough to make you go, but not also enough to actually make you just sit there.
yeah, yeah. The wheat, we found that the wheat actually does present a decent amount of spice. I think you are correct that the rye is definitely coming forward on the palate for sure. But surprisingly, and I, to be honest with you, I really don't know where this comes from, but the wheat also carries a decent amount of spice. You know, in wheat forward whiskeys, you always hear about them being soft and floral and really,
Mhm.
round and fruity and all that, which I love.
And when you were talking, that's what I was expecting. Right?
Yeah.
I have that in my mind. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be chewy, soft and a little herbal. And then I have it like it takes like 3 or 4 sip before you actually start getting now the note that you were talking. But the first 2 sips are all rye in your
Yeah.
face. Like my tongue is wrapped up with that rye, spicy kind of.
I get like
it's a tingle.
up front, like
Yeah.
in the front of my palate. I get this really like crazy spice
Mm-hmm.
that, whew, I can't think of Mickey's where I ever got that hitting on it.
So
Very interesting.
in the mash bill, I don't know if I mentioned this. The mash bill is 60% corn, 20% wheat, 10% rye, and 10% malted barley. So the rye, initially early on, in the first few months, we had to play around with different ratios of grains and really had to dial back the rye because it was overpowering for sure. And dialing up, bringing the wheat a little bit more forward, kind of balanced everything out. And, if you put too much malted barley in there, the huskiness of the grain is going to take over. The tannin is really going to come forward. So, we like it. We think that it's a really well balanced whiskey. This is our flagship product. It's by far what we sell the most of. So,
how old is it?
this is 3 years.
Okay.
The
It does taste a little young. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's a young whiskey, but it's not ready at 2 years. And surprisingly, and this is kind of crazy to me, I only discovered this maybe a couple years ago, but the rye actually has almost a wider range of maturity. You can drink it younger and you can drink it older, and it's really quite amazing. But we can get to that a little bit later.
Is there any plan going forward for this to be an older product than 3 years, or is this going to just stay as a 3-year product?
There's the bonded.
Yep. So we have the bottled in bond 4 grain. This release was 8 years. We've played around with different ages of the bottled in bond. We had our first 10-year release a few months back. I think that was probably in last fall. We have, as we're going, we're holding back more and more stock to creep up. This particular product, this batch product is what we call it. That's going to remain around 3 to 3.5 years, probably.
Cool. Okay.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that's perfect, because I was curious, like baseline product, if you're going to stay in that range.
Yeah, probably. We feel like it really shines pretty well here. So.
No, I can see it. The evolution of this product is going to be interesting, because now I want to try the bonded.
Yeah, definitely want to try that bonded.
what this product is, because you guys release, is it this year that you guys actually release it, this bonded? Is it the
Uh,
first time that you guys are releasing a bonded product?
so no, so our first bonded bottle and bond bourbon came out. I want to say 4 years ago.
Okay.
And we released it at 4 years. So
Okay.
we had the 3 year batch product, and then we had the 4 year bonded.
Look at the color on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice deep red. So yeah, we started with that 4 year bonded. We crept it up to over the period of a couple years. We brought that up to 6 years. So 6 years is going to be the baseline for all of our bonded bourbon and bonded rye. We're never going to go below that age. This year is 8. And it'll fluctuate from here on out. You know, it might go up to 10 years. It might go back down to 7 years. It really just depends on what's tasting great that year, and what we want to hold back for following, subsequent releases.
James, are you guys doing non-chill filtering on your whiskey?
That's right. Yeah. Nothing is
Yeah,
chill.
I was going to say, cause it's got a little flex in it. Like,
I love the I love the fact that I can see the evolution of this product.
yeah, dude.
Because
oh my God.
it is clearly, is the evolution of this thing is clearly beautiful. Because now I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, okay, I see what happened to this product from 3.5 years into where we are right now, right? Like the nose even is so interesting from that 3.5 years to now. Is almost mesmerizing, because those notes that I was saying, herbal note, are turning more into now savory note. We got that dark chocolate, dark cherry. We get those deeper, darker notes on the nose. You're getting away from those I like to call young herbaceous notes. We are
It's
lowly
developing. It's getting some character.
Yeah, to the grown and mature notes now. The you are going to have to explore me to love me type of notes, and that's what I expect from a good whiskey. And if you guys don't know what the bottle looks like, I'm gonna put it right there. I'm covering your face, but yeah, pretty much that is what the Law 8-year bottle and bond look like. That's the bottle over there.
Deep chocolate. Some of that orange still shows up, but it's cherry, and it's got very good oak presence, nice vanilla, and that spice. Like that spice hangs out. It lets you know it's still there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but now that spice is more like that kicker you need. It's no longer bothersome like when I had it on the first one. Like I need that hug now. So when you get all that chocolate, those dark cherry notes, and you get all that oak coming in, you get that. You guys literally, that rye now goes into that Kentucky hug that people look for in a whiskey. Now this, I hate to say it, is a balanced 4 grain. This is what I would call balanced. The first
why?
one
Wait, why do you hate to say it?
I hate to say it because I know what you guys did with the 3.5 years, but it seemed a little temperamental. It seemed young and temperamental for me. That I will have used that for, hey, I'll put a little water in it just to open it up a little bit. But this right here, don't you touch it. I want it neat. I want to give it to me like this. All the dark note that I'm looking for are here. All the, what I expect for a 4 grain, the chewiness, the herbalness, the vanilla notes, and then that dark chocolate right in the middle, and then finish me with that rye. Like hit me at the end with that kicker, and that's exactly what you get on this bottle. Guys, if you don't know which bottle we are talking about, I'm going to display it one more time. This is the Law's whiskey, the 4 grain bonded bottle right there. That thing is just delicious.
If you could compare this to a food, okay? You took a cordial cherry Okay. And then you spiked it with red chili and then grinded a spice cabinet on top of it and shotgunned the whole thing. That's this whiskey.
Me is complete opposite. For
Okay.
me, you took some dark chocolate, melted it, put some paprika, and you put some paprika in there with just a little bit of cayenne pepper, and then you covered it with just some almond, and then you freeze it, break it like a almond dark chocolate paprika brittle. And then
I fucking love that, dude.
That's how I will, because the chewiness that you get there,
sure,
that chewiness come from like that dark chocolate that like almost you hate those caramel note. I can't even describe this as caramel because it is a little like a dash past caramel is on that dark chocolate, that cocoa, right? Yeah, it's not dark chocolate, that cocoa, those cocoa notes. I don't talk a lot of whiskey. I just taste them and I say, I will let you live your life. But this right here, this is a balanced whiskey. This is what I will call a 4 grain is doing every single ingredient is doing their job over here. And I'm afraid, I'm scared when you guys pull out a 10-year. Because I can only imagine what those dark notes are going to be. I can only imagine what's going to happen to that chewiness. I can only imagine, hell, at this point, I'm even curious to see what is it going to do in a different barrel.
Different barrel. That's a good question. We do a decent amount of what we call experiential series. That's the brand of it. Internally, we call it the special finish program. That's where we take whiskeys anywhere from 2 to 5 or 6 years, everything in between, and we'll batch them and we'll redistribute those whiskeys over some wine barrels, some cognac barrels, some Armagnac barrels. I've got Calvados barrels going, Curacao, all these really special barrels.
I really want to know, like, out of all the one you've listed, knowing how the pepperness, right, that rye spice is acting, I'm really curious to see what it's going to do specifically in Curacao, because the sweetness is going to increase. I wonder if it's going to temper down the spiciness. And the second barrel is, if you do any Calvados, they're very temperamental barrels as well. I'm really curious what's going to happen. What I want to know is what's going to happen if you put this in a tequila barrel.
That's a great question, and I have not tried that yet, but I am curious to see what would happen. Unfortunately, tequila barrels around here anyway, when we can get our hands on them, they're usually kind of trashed. So it's hard to find a good, tequila barrel in good condition. But
I know a couple of people. I can make a phone call for you.
All right, we might have to collaborate on that.
I also wonder, now that you are a brewer, I will challenge you. Stout barrel.
A what?
A stout barrel.
Stout barrel. All right. So we did one stout barrel where this was actually a Weller barrel.
Okay.
Purchased by, it was a single barrel purchased locally by Argonaut Liquor in Denver. They took the barrel, they sent it to River North Brewing Company. River North aged an Imperial Stout in it for, 6 months or something like that. The beer was fantastic. Argonaut Liquor got the barrel back and they didn't know what to do with it. So they called us up and they're like, what do we do? And we want to put, maybe put some whiskey in it. And so at the time, I dug up some 4-year malt whiskey, malt in there for another 2 years. It's closer to like 1.5 years, but it's probably about a 5.5 year total aging. And, you can taste the elements of the Kentucky bourbon. You can taste elements of the dark roasted grains, of the slight estery notes from the yeast. And then it really rounds out our malt whiskey really beautifully. And so this was one barrel that we did. I don't have another one that had an imperial stout in it, but I'm gonna keep an eye out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I definitely think it'll be a really good thing because just the way this whiskey just spoke to me. That's the best way to put it. Spoke to me. I feel like it's a whiskey that will be quite versatile in a lot of barrels. So I cannot wait to see what you guys do with it. Let's talk about this rye that you guys have out there.
All right.
But that's the first time I actually saw a whiskey come out, and they didn't just say, excuse me, it didn't just say rye. It said specifically, uh, and I literally had to say why. San Luis
St.
rye,
Louis.
straight rye. Why specifically that?
So, two reasons why. The first reason is because that's where the grain is grown by Colorado Malting Company in southern Colorado. It's a really geographically unique area with really interesting growing conditions. It's a high desert. In the southern part of the San Luis Valley, they get a little bit more precipitation, so it's a little more hospitable to farming.
Okay.
It has a high water table. It's got sandy soil, similar to growing grapes, where you kind of grow in poor quality soil and it gives you really interesting yield and really interesting quality of your grain. They have high temperatures during the day, cool nights, which the rye really loves. So that's the first reason. It comes from the San Luis Valley. The second reason is because the variety of rye is called San Luis Valley rye, and it's an heirloom variety, as I mentioned. Nobody really knows.
100% rye.
What's that?
Mhm.
Is it 100% rye?
It's 100% right.
It's 100% rye in the batch rye that you're tasting right now. The next one that we'll get to, the bonded, is 95% rye, 5% malted barley. That's before we changed the mash bill to 100% rye.
So are you malting the rye?
Colorado Malting Company does that for us. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's the mash bill is 100% rye, 50% raw, and 50% malted rye. And the raw rye gives us this grassiness, this vegetal kind of quality. We like to say that it's almost like a serrano pepper note because you get the spice, you get the heat, but you get a little bit of vegetal note to it, and the grassiness and the earthiness. And then you get from the malted rye, you get a really nice toastiness that kind of rounds everything out, and sweetness comes forward from that.
Man, this is the most like, what the fuck is happening rye I think I've ever tasted. First of all, I can't think of a whiskey that uses that much of a malt. That's not a single malt, right? Like, that's
What's going on here?
yeah, it's going like this. It's
What's going on here?
spicy, sweet,
Yeah,
earthy.
this is not
like,
right.
Right.
It's not rye that everybody's used to because there are plenty of really good ryes out there that have a decent amount of corn in them, maybe a little bit of malted barley. That's great. I love those whiskeys too.
Wow. So if you guys just joining us, this is James, barrel manager, ex-distiller at Laws Whiskey. Laws is in Colorado. We are talking today to him to know more about Laws. If you never heard about Laws, that's Laws Whiskey. That's what it looks like. Thanks for joining.
Man.
Give us a thumbs up. Share this with your friends and have them come in and know more about Laws. We are now trying the rye, which is their scent. I have to make sure I say it right. Is the San Luis, and it's not Louis as L-O-U, is L-U-I-S. So it's San Luis Valley, and this is a 2-year rye, 47.5% ABV.
This is a 2-year rye?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. This is a 4-year.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, it said age at least 2 years. So
that's right. Yeah.
Wow. Dude, I will tell you right now.
Whew.
Tim, what is my relationship with rye?
You fucking hate it.
I fucking hate rye.
Oh no.
So if I'm telling you, if you want to venture into rye, I'm even gonna challenge one of my favorite rye. My favorite rye is the Restoration Rye from Castle and Key, and you guys will give them a run for their money with this rye.
There's something.
There's something here
there's
that
something.
y'all ain't telling. There's a secret in here, James, that you're not telling us about. There's something in here.
There's another famous Colorado product in this.
Yeah. Is it a terroir? What is happening? Well, why is it that this rye tastes like spice candy, right? That's like spice candy, spice caramel. That's what it tastes like.
Oh yeah, I get a lot of toffee from it.
Yeah, see, like spice toffee.
Mm-hmm.
This is not right. You put something else in this. You know what, James? We're alone here. Only 8 people. Tell us what's going on around here. Which secret are you hiding that we don't know about?
I mean, I wish it was that simple, but it's the mash bill, it's the yeast, it's the process that we do. It's sour mash, it's open ferment. Beautiful ester quality that comes out of the fermentation because of that. We do double distillation, aging in full-sized barrels. We like to say that there are no shortcuts. That's one of our trademark terms.
Mm-hmm. One of the guys has that tattooed on his arm. Yeah, was that prior, or did that happen because of Laws?
That's the owner. That's Al Laws, and that's his mantra. That's what he
Some
lives
love
by.
Right there.
And it's made its way into everything that we do because we believe that really there's no substitute for doing it the right way. We give it the right amount of time. And as
I'll be honest with you, when we started this interview, I did not know that we'd be talking about the rye. I really thought we were just going to talk about your bourbon because from all I read online, a lot of people rave about your bourbon. They're missing out on this rye.
Yeah, they are.
So here is the question that came in. Matt is asking is Laws distribute only in Colorado?
No. Laws, I want to say we're in about 13 other states. I don't know that specifically, but if you look at our website, there's a little map up there that shows you where you can buy our whiskey in the U.S.
What you guys want is this 4-pack here.
Yeah, you do.
This 4-pack that is here. It comes with everything you need to know about Laws whiskey right here. It describes it as their bourbon, 4-grain bourbon, the rye, the wheat, and the malt. This will give you an idea of what you want to buy at here. This is probably the most genius thing I've seen. This 4-pack is beautiful, simple, straight to the point. I wish everybody can sell me the whiskey like this, so I know exactly what I'm gonna buy from you moving forward. I don't have to waste my time on doing anything. This is cool.
Yeah, and they come in these 100 milliliter bottles. You don't have to commit to buying a full 750 for. I think MSRP is $80 for this.
And let me make sure I displayed your website to people so they know exactly where to go to grab any of your whiskeys.
Arkansas, California, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky. We are in Kentucky. Maryland, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, Washington, and Wyoming.
And if you live in a state where you can buy online, we are recently with a new online distributor as well. So check them out.
So for all of you guys, it will be lawwhiskeyhouse.com. That's where you go. A lot of people are intrigued about this rye, Stacy included. Matt, thanks for your question. We appreciate it. Yes, but Law Whiskey House to order online if you can to actually grab your 4-packs. I will tell you right now, it's now I'm very curious about the bonding.
Oh,
because this bonded is 7 years.
Already there.
7-year bonded whiskey.
Oh, son of a bitch! I think this is going to be the crowd winner here.
This is batch 3.
I haven't talked about this, but I'll let you go first.
So
Oh man.
this is Bass Street and is bonded. I will, like a dum dum. Let me go in there. I had this photo ready. Let me make sure I have this here for the people so they can see what this bottle looks like. Right here. Perfect. Okay. We are going to download that. Guys, let me show you what this bottle looks like so you guys know exactly what you're dealing with. Um, there you go. I'm gonna show you.
Oh man.
Somebody said, "Dang, I gotta drive to New York." Please do because it is worth the drive.
Oh yeah.
It is worth the drive for you guys for you to drive to New York to actually grab this. And I will tell you right now, for you guys, let me show you this bottle. I'm gonna hide your face again. So this is Law Whiskey
Mm.
bonded 7 years. That's a 7 year rye. I've had the 4 year. So for all you guys who don't see it, here we go. This is what it looks like. Beautiful heavy bottle. Love every part of it. The nose is not.
Mm.
Nose is like a bed of lavender and lilies. Very floral, very inviting. A little bit of burnt toffee on the nose, but truly floral, beautifully floral. All right, let's go for it.
This is so weird. Does anybody ever say cherry Coke?
Yep. Yeah, we get that definitely, or cherry. Okay, maybe not cherry Coke, but like cola and cherry sometimes are some of the notes that people pick up in, like in our bonded rye and bonded bourbon.
What the
So
hell is this?
yeah,
How is it that the 7 year has more character, more spiciness than the 4 year?
then the
Because
4 year.
it's
Yeah,
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I think it's more balanced and it has an incredible amount of body. Um,
that you can say that again. Body for days.
body
it's
for
creamy.
days. It's a
It's
year
creamy.
younger. It's a year younger than that 8 year bonded sorry, the 8 year bourbon that we just tried. And to me, the body is significantly more. It's
Oh, it has way more mouthfeel than the bourbon, which is very weird to say about a rye. Like it has like a creamy mouthfeel, which is weird.
I know,
Um,
but you're not crazy. I think it's the toffee that makes it creamy.
it doesn't have 49% corn in it. So rye itself is a really heavy grain to work with, especially this variety. It has a lot of oil in it. It has a lot of protein in it. And the distillers will tell you that it's a nightmare to work with in the distillery because it's so sticky, running it from the mash cooker into the fermenters. It's like slimy. It coats everything. It gunks up the works. It actually coats the inside of the still with oils from the grain. But we get
wow.
so much flavor and body and mouthfeel out of that. It's unlike any other grain that we work with, and it's kind of a favorite among people who work at Laws. It's like the quiet favorite among everybody, even though the 4 grain is kind of the main product.
Oh, I'm gonna need some of this. This is
This is the whiskey to drink if you truly had a long day.
oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
This will make you think.
Mm,
This
mm.
is it.
Well, and
You
it's
guys
7 years.
definitely, you guys definitely are. Let me put it in words that make sense to me. Y'all on some shit, okay? Y'all on some shit, and I don't know. We definitely need to do a Monday Sucks Laws pick.
Ooh.
We need to
Sounds
pick
good.
up Ball's barrel.
That sounds good.
Talk dirty to me. Let's go.
We definitely do because this right here, and I want to pick a rye.
Yep. There's something about that Colorado rye, Jack.
No, I want to pick a rye. There's some crazy thing happening in here that I don't think the word is ready for. It's leaving me almost speechless, and I don't like it. Because they're not old enough to make me speechless. And they're doing something.
We still have 2 other whiskeys to taste.
And I don't care for those. Because this rye got me thinking. Again, I will say it again. I wonder what happened to this rye in the tequila barrel. Because with this sweetness now on the rye and then coming back with that spicy, if you put this rye in an extra añejo barrel,
Stop.
this thing is gonna become like lethal.
Yeah, I think the combination of that Serrano pepper note and there's almost like
I will say this, okay? So speaking of Serrano, there's very few times when you can get that green vegetal of the Serrano and also get the spice as a note. It's usually one or the other. It's like that green vegetal or that spice. Like this, like describing it as a Serrano, I feel like doesn't do it justice. It's like chewing, like taking a bite out of a fresh Serrano pepper and just chewing on it. And like that crunch and that juice and that spice and that vegetal, like that is, it's not just Serrano. It's fresh. It's fresh, like picked off the vine Serrano.
it's got a nice little like brininess to it or like a minerality that I think complements that spice really nicely, and it balances out the sweetness, it balances out the spice. And that comes from the ground, that comes from the earth where it's grown. It's
almost like a salted caramel toffee. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whew.
You know what, James? I thought we would be friends when we started this thing, but I don't like you right now. I don't like you. I have now. You guys are gonna be in the. You guys are gonna be in June. You guys gonna be in that Colorado, the Colorado Spring festival they're doing for craft distilleries, right? I know you guys will be part of it.
I believe so.
For all of you guys living in a surrounding of Denver, June there is a craft distillery festival happening there. Laws is gonna be there. You definitely need to go check them out. I'm gonna be there, but I will tell you right now. Good job, man.
Thank you.
From someone who hates rye. Good job. Good job. You did. Y'all did something on this one. I will be very honest. Y'all did something over here. It's hard to actually find somebody that can produce just pure, simple quality. I can see it right here. It may be the terroir of your whiskey, maybe how you're making the whiskey, but whatever you're making, keep doing it.
Thank you.
I truly believe you guys are doing an amazing job, specifically on this. Yeah, this rye is out there. It's I'm glad you guys are a part of it because there's a lot of distilleries in Kentucky, in Colorado. That's the craziest thing is I didn't know how many of there are. See, I started doing the research. I'm like, there's a lot of them. We don't always get a chance to actually chat with all of them. But
I can definitely contest that because I've been doing inventory for Applejack lately, and all these Colorado brands that I've been coming across, I'm like, I didn't even know all this shit existed.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And there are some really outstanding distilleries in Colorado that we're really happy to call them our peers in the industry. And we look up to so many other distillers, and, it's a really great community. We support each other. And, we like to say that rising tide raises all ships, so if one of us does well, we all do well.
Great, great. Then that's the spirit. That's how we should be. I appreciate you saying that. Our friends from, we said it. 291 has been a great supporter of the show. Michael, Phil, and Emily and Hannah there have always been very supportive of our show. They're probably the first distillery that personally will come on the show and say, "Hey, we just want to watch. We just want to hear people that are not bullshitters and just having a good time on camera talking about whiskey." So I have more 291 here that I can count because they always every time something new come out, they've always say, "Hey, try our whiskey,
Oh,
see
cool.
what you think," because they know we are no bullshit. We don't make anybody feel comfortable. We all about making people truly. If you're part of our family, you're part of our family. And if you're doing something great, we'll talk about it. And if it's something that I don't like you heard me talked about the 4 year 4 grain. If it's not my favorite album, I'm very honest. But if you're doing something right, I'm definitely be the first one to jump in and tell everybody, shut the hell up. Go try this thing before you start trashing the brand. I'm very, very. I believe in fairness. I don't believe everybody will have a slam dunk every time they're making a whiskey. But if they're doing something right, I believe that everybody should go support that thing that they do right before they have an opinion. So far I know where my favorites lies. I know anybody that walk to me and say, "Hey, I want to try Law's whiskey," I'll be like, "Okay, I know where to put them and where they need to start and where they need to go." Um, we've talked about your 4 grain bourbon, which is your kind of your I would say your that word's always escaped me.
Flagship? Is
So
that the word you're looking for?
flagship.
Yeah,
Got you, bud.
it's definitely our flagship product. That's the one that we
That
make.
word always escaped me. So that flagship. We talked about your 4 years rye, a bonded bourbon that for if you haven't had if you want a bourbon that's a 4 grain that will give that is worth every single penny, definitely that 4 grain bourbon, 8 years bonded. You know it's gonna be good. You know there was quality and care into this thing. That 7 year rye uh I can't even say anything about that rye. I want you to try it. What I'm going to do is actually I'm y'all send me a message, man. If I can, anybody want to try it, I will send y'all a sample just for you to actually try what this rye is about because it's just fantastic. Uh,
Thank you.
and now in this 4 pack of goodies, we have 2 more whiskeys. Um, Between the Henry Road and the Centennial, which one do we need to try first?
I'm going to say the Centennial wheat should go next.
So where does the wheat come from?
So the wheat is also grown in San Luis Valley by the same family, the Cody family at Colorado Malting Company. Um, as I kind of touched on earlier, it's a spring white wheat. Like a hard red wheat is usually more suited for baking. It's higher protein, maybe
Don't
not
don't
so
they
much.
call that like a baker's wheat?
Yeah, but the soft wheat works really, really well for whiskey. It's got a ton of flavor, and we were talking about spice earlier with the 4 grain. You might you might be able to see where some of that spice is coming from when you taste this whiskey. It's sort of a weird thing. It has both spice and softness at the same time, which I believe is kind of maybe it's more interesting characteristics.
So as we are going through this thing, this is the wheat. It's called the Centennial Straight Wheat. Why did you guys call it Centennial State Straight Wheat?
So Centennial, because that's the variety of wheat.
Okay.
Centennial white wheat, and Colorado is the Centennial State because it was became a state in 1876. That's right.
You better know your history.
I should know. I'm fourth generation Coloradan, so
yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble.
And where you guys are located specifically, from in relationship to Denver or relationship to Colorado Springs, which are the two places people know to visit.
Yeah. So we're in Denver. If you're in downtown Denver, you go straight south by about a mile. We're right pretty close to where I-25 crosses over Broadway.
You know I'm coming to the distillery, right?
You better.
What can I say? Hey, my brother works here. They'd be like, who? It's like James. James works here.
Yeah.
He told me I can just come and walk into this Rick house. I don't know. Y'all call James and tell him that Jack came in here. His black brother that was adopted in the third generation.
Yeah, you better come visit. Absolutely.
You know, I used to say I'm at an $89 flights away from Colorado, but now I can't say that anymore because flights are more expensive. But definitely, with Frontier in an hour and 30 minutes, I'm down there downtown. I'll message you offline and see. I'll see if I can actually just drop by on you and really see. I'm not coming for the whiskey. I will be coming just for your experimental barrels to see what you guys got cooking in there.
Well, before we leave this evening, I'll tell you about some of our most exciting project going with special finishes.
Okay.
So with this one, we get a lot of orange on the nose, a lot of spice, a lot of clove.
We should have tried this first.
The initial nose on this reminds me of saltwater taffy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just could not.
I don't like the finish.
The finish is way different than what I get on the nose.
Way. That's not what I expected from the finish. So I understand what you were saying, that the wheat from
spice
that region is also very different, right? Because that wheat is giving me almost like a heartburn, like a little spiciness coming in, almost like a heartburn. So I understand when you were saying that wheat is not like wheat that people are used to.
Yeah, absolutely. I get a lot of like pastry dough, bread dough kind of notes. Sweet, like a sweet croissant or something like that. A little bit buttery.
It is buttery, but the taste is different from the nose. The nose and the taste don't go together. So the nose is definitely inviting. As I walk in the home where they're baking fresh bread, you're like, okay, a croissant, even a strudel.
Yeah,
it remind me of a strudel, like when a strudel was being baked. Yeah. But when you taste it, maybe because I'm still coming off the high of that ride, so that's not working in my favor.
I can see that being the case.
Here's another weird one for you. Talking about baked goods, cheese Danish.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cheese Danish.
You know what? Now I want a cheese Danish.
So do I.
Thank you, James. You did this. I blame you for all of this.
Oh shit.
Wow. Okay.
So this whiskey in particular really, really preserves the flavor of the grain. And that's kind of the goal with all of our whiskeys, but especially, I mean, this whiskey in particular really, really tastes like wheat. If you ever take a handful of raw wheat and chew on it, which most people don't just chew on raw grain, but if you ever get the chance to do it, that's what it tastes like.
So this is a wheat whiskey, not a wheated bourbon. So it's at least 51% wheat.
This is 100% wheat in the mash bill. So
The lies you tell.
again, these are not
The lies you tell. No, clearly not.
No corn in this. It's 50% raw wheat, 50% malted wheat. And again, the whole idea is to preserve that flavor of the grain as much as possible, make it a grain-forward whiskey. And this whiskey works really well. This is a 3-year expression. We've got stuff we have some barrels that are 6 years. We're going to be releasing our Bottle and Bond wheat whiskey here in a couple weeks.
What?
We're just
James, you have my address, right? Yeah, I'm
we
pretty sure.
do. Yeah, so really trying to get that balance between the grain and the barrel, and that's it's apparent at different ages for sure. The bonded wheat even more so is really where that barrel balances out the grain flavor.
I can't stop thinking about a cheese Danish.
Yeah. All right. Now, because definitely, now I'm very curious. Now that you guys are throwing so many like jabs and so many like haymakers at my palate, I'm very curious about that malt, because now I'm like, okay, what is it about the malt part of this whiskey?
Well, so this is 100% malted barley. All of it is
100% malted.
100% malted barley. Over the years, we've played around with different mash bills, as far as specialty malts, things like that. We've had batches that have included some chocolate malts, some crystal malt, stuff like that. This is 100% pale malt, so it's just as base malt as you can get. It's that Scarlet 2-row variety from Colorado Malting Company. This is all that 95 proof, just like the other ones.
Whoa.
And aged for 3 years.
Whoa.
And what I tell people,
whoa,
before you taste it, what I tell people is don't expect Scotch.
Holy shit.
The nose remind me of.
Whoa.
The nose remind me of. I don't like the nose. The nose remind me of my grandma.
It's got some earthy mustiness going on there.
Things she used to put under her thing, like the smell of your grandma. You're like, you smell old.
Smells like old library books, records, and
it smells like old an old house, an old library book. It reminds me of like if you open fresh paint, that's what you get.
Wait till you try it.
I don't know. Somebody said, yeah, taste expression say, I'm gonna have to take that drive to Denver for real soon. All right. I don't know, man. James, do I have to try this? The nose is scary.
You don't have to taste anything you don't want to taste. But I do recommend you take a sip.
Did you try it yet?
No, I'm looking at you right now.
Because I'm going to say something, but I don't want to say it until you try it because I don't want it to influence you because it's a fucking weird note. It might be the weirdest note I've ever gotten in whiskey. Like, hands down. I think it might be the weirdest note.
Let me clear my palate because this is...
wild. The suspense is killing me. I hope it lasts.
Right. I clear my palate. Okay. I'm afraid the nose is. Whew. And I'm a Scotch guy. I drink a lot.
Nothing like Scotch. There is little to no Scotch element here.
All right.
Ketchup. Ketchup. Like, not just like ketchup out of the bottle. Like,
Shut up.
you had a
You
bender.
shut the
You
fuck
had
up,
a
man.
bender, and the ketchup dried on the plate, and you're carrying it to the kitchen the next day. And it, dude, that's the weirdest fucking note I've ever gotten on any whiskey. Dried ketchup.
Dried ketchup.
And not all the way dry. It's like fruit leather dried ketchup. Hopefully I painted that enough. You know what I'm.
But we even a fry in there. Because it's chewy.
So bizarre.
Dude, this is a weird ass one. I hate to tell you this. I hate to describe whiskey. For being a professional, obviously, in the whiskey industry, it's weird for me to taste a whiskey and go, oh, that's a weird one. Like, it's like if somebody told me what they tasted on this whiskey, I'll be like, get the fuck on. Dude.
I know.
Okay. All right. You know what? That was the first sip. Let's go for another one. The nose already bizarre. Remind me of my grandma that always like hugged me weirdly, and she always have that weird ass tussie. I think it's tussie that she will always put under her armpit, and she smelled like that weird, like almost like minty, weird, like motor oil type of.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
thing.
it's old library books,
Yeah,
old records,
like an
and
old
peppermint.
library book, like okay, second sip. But I'm doing this for y'all, for all of you guys
like
here. I'm doing this for you guys.
You know, I have to say, James, as out there as this is, for me, this is a lot of fun because things get very repetitive. Drinking American malt, drinking American rye, drinking bourbon, like it's. Sometimes I get very, very just bored with stuff because it's the same thing just keeps happening over and over again, and it's really nice.
Do you guys give warnings to people before you pour them this? I'm sorry.
But it's just nice to have something that's still on the whiskey belt, but it's just like out to left field. Like it's just
it's out.
This is fun, man. It's fun. It's weird, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, one of the notes that I appreciate most about this is almost like a cucumber note or like watermelon rind.
Sure.
I don't like cucumbers. So yeah, definitely that's why.
Yeah, that's all right, But hey, like I said, right before you took a sip, it's not Scotch.
It's not.
We tell people that it's not like a traditional single malt. And so take whatever you might think of as single malt or malt whiskey in general.
It's not even close.
Just throw it out and come at it with kind of an open mind and a blank slate. So,
whoa. This is so not it. It is different. Now I guess the whole audience now, all our people are saying, "Oh, I need to try it now." It's like when someone smells something bad and say, "Oh, smell it. It smells really weird," and people go, "Oh, I want to smell it." You're like, well, "I just told you smell bad," and they go, "Oh, no, 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 I want to try it. I want to try it because now you said something that intrigues me. It's
I would totally throw this into the middle of a tasting. Like just
yeah,
all right,
like a
now we're gonna
blind
try something.
tasting, just to say
Oh,
people,
dude,
just to see people just lose their mind.
this is fun, man. Like I said, weird, a lot of fun.
You know, it makes a good
Wow.
cocktail. It's good. It's good
Ooh,
in the
sure.
fall. You know, you can mix it with something like an apple cider and spice it up with cinnamon and stuff like that. It's pretty good.
All right, hold on. We're gonna do an experiment. This is gonna happen live.
Wow. Woo!
Is that? Did I see some mellow corn there?
You sure did.
Yeah, corn.
Big fan over here.
Huge fan. So here we go. Equal parts of your malt and equal parts mellow corn.
All right. Now we're getting squirrely.
I'm just waiting on you.
That musty note is gone. It's just sugar. It's like confectioner sugar and peppermint now. Dude. Oh, damn, that's fun. There we go. Woo! I like that.
Look
That's
like
fun.
he got a fan here in Ben. Ben say he loved all the single barrel he had. I guess it's time for us to pick a single barrel of Laws.
I think so. And I think if you're really into the rye, I got a few special barrels you might like.
Don't play with us. Don't play.
I mean, all the barrels are special, but some more than others.
Damn, now I need to make a cocktail with the malt and mellow corn.
There you go.
Holy cow, dude. That was cool.
Yeah.
As soon as you said cocktail, for some reason, my mind instantly went to mellow corn. I have no idea why, but those work really well together.
The only way I can have this malted whiskey, all I can think of is a Rob Roy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I want to smoke it. With some applewood chip, put some bitters in it, a little bit of, a little bit. No, I don't. Neat. It takes me back to my grandma when she used to hold my ear and just start shaking it around. It's traumatic for me.
It does make a good cocktail with like a spiced simple syrup or something like that. It works really well. Absolutely.
You know what this would be really fun with too? Okay. They're apple rings, but it's fresh apple rings. But they're dehydrated, but they're not all the way dehydrated, so they're still a little bit leathery.
Then you can actually eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're kind of sour.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Like soak those in some of this malt.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be so much fun. I don't know, man. Jack, I know you're not the fan, but this was right up my weird alley. I have a whole section of whiskey that's weird in my collection. Like, hey, you want to try something weird? I would throw this right in there, man. I think it's fucking fun.
I agree with you. If I want to fuck with somebody and go, you want to try something weird? Come here. It's like somebody who tell me they drink what do you call it? Merlot. What is that?
Merlot.
Lord.
Somebody say I drink Malort. I say, oh yeah, I got a whole category of weird ass whiskey you can try as well.
Oh no.
I will have to tell you, I'm quite a. You guys have been in business about 8 years. You are doing what I'm glad you're staying in a good lane, because most people try too much, right? And I'm glad you stay in a good
I
lane.
I will definitely echo that. And applaud it because you guys found what works for you. You carved it out, and you're soaring down 100 on the autobahn, and you're like, "This is where we're at, guys."
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's what we do. I mean, we're the whiskey house. That's the whole
No doubt about
idea.
it.
And we don't make anything else. It's all about exploring whiskey in every way we can. We've done, I can't tell you how many diet experiments we've done with different yeast strains and different proportions of grains and things like that. Some of those things the average consumer will never see. And sometimes those are released as single barrels or small batches, which is really fun. And one of my favorite parts of my job is coming across barrels that we made 3, 4, 5 years ago that we forgot about. And maybe it's
Sure.
like, it might be a batch of bourbon with an extra 200 pounds of wheat in it or something like that. And then we taste it and we're like, oh man, this is so good. And then we might release it as a special single barrel or something like that. And
Sure.
that's really the magic. That's so much fun. Or, we played around with yeast strains, like I said, like Scotch yeast and wine yeast and stuff like that. It's a ton of fun.
Well, I will tell you what we tasted tonight is definitely testament to you guys as far as what you say is you're a whiskey house. And I mean, it is clear in the array of things that we tried tonight, from this funky malt to a badass 7-year-old rye that's bonded, man. Seriously, this was a lot of fun. Appreciate you and taking the time with us, because this, look, had no idea. All I knew was the name. I think Jack's kind of in the same boat. We knew the name. We had no idea about it. And very happy to be able to sit down and talk to you and drink this and enjoy it with you. It's been a blast.
Thank you.
We
Thanks.
need to know, what are those experiments that you want to tell us about? Those weird things you have there that you want us to know about.
Yeah. So we've got, like I said, a bunch of the special finish series. One of my pet projects that I've been working on for 3 years now is a cognac finished bourbon. So it is its own product. It's a seasonal release, and we just came out with the first release of it a few months ago and last fall. And
It's like a purplish pink label, right?
right,
Okay.
yeah. So this it came about because we had a cognac barrel a few years back that we put some bourbon in, released it as a single barrel out of the tasting room, and it sold out instantly, and people went crazy for it. So we're like, okay, we got to turn this into a program. And so we didn't just get a couple barrels. We made it into a full thing where we took a cognac vat that it was in use for over 50 years in France. And I don't know if you've ever seen a foeder, which is like a huge
Giant.
oak
Yeah.
barrel. This is a 6,000 liter barrel that was used for over 50 years in France for making cognac. And we take cognac barrels that we've filled up, where we take 2 to 3 year bourbon, put it in these cognac barrels, let it sit for 1 to 2 years, harvest those and put it in the big foeder and let it finish for a year. So every step of the process, we're harvesting barrels, marrying them together, we're adjusting the proof, and then we're marrying them again and giving it more time and more integration. And that's really how a cognac maker does it. And so, wow. I mean, I should say it's a simplified version of how a cognac maker would make their product. But we took a few notes from the cognac playbook, and first release was great. We were really happy with it. And we're only releasing about 40% of that foeder every year. So we'll take it down to about 60% volume and then top it up right away with the next round for next year.
It's almost kind of like a Solera kind of thing in a way, right? Like, exactly. Okay. Same kind of concept.
Yep, exactly.
That's super cool.
So along the way, you're picking up notes, or you're picking up elements from several different barrels along the way. But I will say that the first release we were really happy with. I think it's a great representation of the product. And I mean, in the last couple of months, I've been tasting this foeder, and it is far and away even better than the first release. So keep an eye out for next release, which will be this fall of 2022. So it's going to be an annual thing. And we're really excited about it. So that's kind of the thing that was like our top secret project for a couple of years, but now it's like we're public with it.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking your time this evening and coming on. I
Thank you.
definitely need to plan to come visit the distillery. I want to hang out and drill some barrels and see exactly what you guys have there. Um, James, you are a cool guy. Definitely a cool guy. You are
Can
now
confirm.
you are now part of the Monday
Six
Sucks family. You're
Well,
now part of our family. Anytime there's something special you need us to talk about, if there's any release or anything we need to talk about, make sure you let me know or let I would say Mark or anybody know so I can pass it along, publish it, make sure everybody else in the industry knows about it. It was fun having you on, dude. We took an hour. We try to keep guests an hour and a half later we're still here, and you are definitely somebody I would like to have come back on when we have more stuff that are new at laws. I'm very happy. You now have a new family. You are part of the Monday Sucks family, and anytime we are not going to invite you again. We expect you to just say, "Hey, I'm gonna come home and visit for a little bit," just like a kid in college trying to come back home and enjoy this time. This is your home now. Anytime you
okay.
have something to say, I follow you now on IG, and I try to keep up with what you do. On Monday Sucks, we have one rule: you don't come as a guest on Monday Sucks without you don't leave here without telling us one advice that does not suck. You could have heard it from your guru, your mother, your father, your parents, or your wife, or anybody, your partner in life that told you this thing that you live by. One advice that does not suck that people can learn something from. What is your advice that does not suck? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't know if anybody told me this, but I just kind of live by it. Just have some humility and express gratitude to people because that's just what people deserve, and you'll never regret it.
Damn. All right. All right. How about that?
You
That's a
guys,
good thing to live by.
you guys heard it here first. Have some humility and express gratitude to people. That was James' advice that does not suck. And I have to remind people of that all the time is you're never too big for your own britches. Have some humility. When people say you're doing great, say thank you. I'm trying. No need to say I'm big. I'm whatever. And express gratitude. Remind people that you love them, that you care about them, and then they matter. That's truly what this word is about. So you heard it here first. James just told you that's his advice that does not suck. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on Monday Sucks. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, this is your family now. And if you ever have anything to say, all you have to do is just shoot an email and say, hey, I got something to say. I would like to come on the show and we'll give you your space to talk. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you chatting with us. And we will see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. That was a good one, brother.
That was great, man. I'm about that whiskey. I'll tell you what.
You know what? That right. We
All
definitely.
right. Woo,
If
all right.
if you here and you would like to see us do a barrel pick of this rye, you need to make sure you let us know. Hit me in the DM, hit me on Instagram, hit me on Facebook, so we can actually go. We'll go see James and we'll let him pick some barrels for us and see what we can do because that rye is out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what San Luis is, but whatever San Luis is doing over there, they're doing great. That's
There
what I
was something about that reminded me of wine. And there's some red wines that they get some of that volcanic ash soil, and it translates into the grape and the juice as well. And there was something, I think that's probably why that rye is so unique, because it's 8,000, it's up 8,000 plus feet above sea level, and it's like he was saying, there's weird elements that are going on that are affecting that rye. But man, there was something in that reminded me of ashy soil from a red wine. It was very,
Absolutely.
very interesting. It was an experience for sure.
If you guys are here, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys. Next week, we will not have a show here. We'll have a show on Instagram. Believe it or not. Our friend here, Mr. aka No Saint Patrick.
No St. Patrick.
No Saint Patrick want to talk
Gonna
to
be
us
in the
about,
house.
we will ask him, because we are hoping to actually be here. If he's okay being on YouTube, we'll be on YouTube. We are going to talk about tequila. This man knows everything about tequila. He sent us some sample, and we'll love to talk to him. If he chooses for us to be on
here's the
YouTube,
thing. He didn't just send us some samples.
he sent us
sent
a whole
us a
history,
fucking sheet
a bag,
of like, hey, check it
everything
out.
you need to know
Here's
about
the
the whiskey.
tequilas. Like,
This man knows everything about tequila, and he wanna learn us some shit. So we are happy to learn some shit. So hopefully we'll be back on YouTube here.
We're gonna drink some really good tequila. I'm very excited for it.
I'm very excited about it as well. So guys, thank you. Make sure to follow TVR here on YouTube or on his Instagram. And if you want to hear him tell you about whiskey, tomorrow morning, we'll have a new episode on The Truth is Barrel Proof. He'll be.
I got something that's going to surprise a lot of people tomorrow. They'll be like, "Did he really do this?"
And you guys get to hear about him. And if you're here and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you want to know more about Law's Whiskey, make sure you visit Law's Whiskey House, and make sure you follow them and give them a thumbs up. And if James did such a great job, make sure you send them an email. Say, hey, who's that James guy you guys have there? You should give him a promotion. He needs more money. So
yes, he does.
We will see you next Monday, 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if you're here, remember, Monday sucks, but we love people and we love to drink whiskey. See you next time.
Cheers, dudes.
Cheers.